This is RightLine with Drew Steele.
Well, hey everybody. Glad you're joining us today on RightLine. My name is Drew Steele. Big D over there on the other side of the glass with the rest of the newsroom, and Nina's in the breaking newsroom. Anytime you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X, we appreciate you watching. And if you're listening, I wish I could show you some of the video that's going on there in the UK. A big march today, Unite the Kingdom March that's been going on. And I could play the video because we are on YouTube and X. But for those that are driving around or listening wherever you are, massive tens, hundreds of thousands of people marching, a big rally. We're going to get to that in just a second. And also another big day here where everybody is getting ready for Louisiana and what's going on there, where the polls have opened. And you've got Senator Bill Cassidy, who I guess according to Polymarket, only has like a 3% chance of being able to hold on to that Senate seat that he is occupying currently. For those that are wondering why I'm kind of laughing a little bit there is because you have someone in Senator Bill Cassidy that many have said, hey, Rhino, I think if you go into the dictionary, not Wikipedia, because that's a really leftist place to go for anything. But when you go into the dictionary, the good old fashioned one, and sometimes when you go through the Rhino pages, the Rhino pages, you'll see his picture up there. A lot of people have said. And if you're wondering, well, why is that the case? Well, coming up, we'll explain exactly why people are saying that. The president is very happy about the idea that someone else would be in that Senate seat in Louisiana. So I know the newsroom gets very upset when I say that. Louisiana, okay? Is that better? Okay. So all of that coming up. Plus, this was something that I read today in Axios. We're going to get to sometime in the program. Now I just got to make sure it was today. Inside the growing screen-free childhood movement. Hold on a second. Sign me up. Come on now. Is there really a growing screen-free childhood movement? Could we possibly be having something like this going on across the country and maybe across the world, where we can finally say, hey, get outside? Like, remember you used to get yelled at when you were a kid? It's like, go outside and play. Instead of being in here, and at the time, you're playing Pong or you're playing like Donkey Kong or whatever it is, not the newfangled ones. The newfangled ones. I said newfangled. All right, and now the newsroom's laughing at me. It's not kind. No laughing at the host, please. That's reserved for the audience and my wife. Come on, who's with me? All right, so we move on. Yeah, big rally there in the UK. Tommy Robinson. Listen, I don't know how you feel about Tommy Robinson, but I could just tell you this. When it comes to him putting together hundreds of thousands of people in the UK to rally for the nation, well, it's happening.
We're on the march. We're walking up towards Trafalgar Square.
Yep.
The crowds go. Parliament Square's already full.
Yep.
The crowds stretch from here to Euston Station, apparently.
Yep.
Which is miles.
Yeah. So miles and miles of people that were making their way through the streets, Trafalgar Square. They were heading in that direction. And even Nick Shirley. Yes, that Nick Shirley was there as well. And Nick Shirley's like, we got a lot of people over here in the UK right now. And
here at the march in London, people can say what they want about Tommy Robinson. Keir Starmer is calling everyone out for being here at the march today. But the sheer amount of people out here does speak volumes. I'm in Trafalgar Square right now. Parliament Square is nearly half a mile down that way. And from here in Trafalgar Square, all the way down to Parliament Square, it is full of people. I mean, look at this. All the way from Trafalgar Square, all the way down to Parliament Square. This place is completely full.
It's completely full. There's a lot of people there. It's not just Unite the Kingdom and people who are tired of open borders, if you will. Oh, I know a lot of people that have been tired about open borders and migration into nations. Some might say there was a president that probably should have done something about it a long time ago when it comes to our country and our border.
Lion, dog, face, pony, soldier.
You know it's true. You know it's true. And that's going on in the UK. You have solidarity with, there's a discussion today and a lot of Christian speakers. Tommy Robinson talking about the UK being a Christian nation and a lot of solidarity with Nigerian Christians who were speaking as well about some of the horrible things that are going on in Nigeria and uniting with them as well. Even Elon Musk took a couple of minutes. I'm getting emotional. Hold on a second. There you go. All right. Elon Musk, I'm getting emotional. I'm not really. I just had a frog. Elon Musk got into it as well and had a moment to speak to the crowds.
The government can obviously use whatever powers are available to suppress the people. And so I really think there's got to be a change of government in Britain. And you can't, we don't have another 4 years or whatever the next election is. It's too long. Something's got to be done. There's got to be a dissolution of Parliament and a new vote held. Really what matters is rallying the people of Britain, really getting the people of Britain to get the message out there, talk to your friends and family.
Get the message out, talk to your friends and family, rallying, unite the kingdom, as it were. Even Elon Musk is like, there's got to be change in government. This has to be a dissolution of Parliament. They got to have a new vote held. Way too many people out there on the streets who have had enough with what's been happening in the UK. And, we're talking about it here now. Why? Because obviously there is a change afoot. That was very British, wasn't it? A change afoot. Look at me. All right. So, there's definitely a change out there. It's not just here. It's across the world where people have had enough. Now, what have they had enough of? Well, Tommy Robinson was mentioning that today and his concerns about what needs to be done. And I just want to play a little bit of this and then a reminder of what's going on in the UK and what they're doing there. So here's Tommy Robinson at this rally in the UK.
Are you watching, Keir Starmer?
All right, so the Prime Minister, are you watching, right?
This crowd, that helicopter goes from here for miles.
Yep.
Today, I want to ask you all something. Are you ready for the Battle of Britain? 2029, we have an election. We're not asking anyone to go out and fight.
We're not asking anyone to go out and fight. There's a Battle of Britain. He said, there's a Battle of Britain. We're not asking anyone to go out and fight. Now, somehow, I feel like this clip or this moment, because everything before it and what he said in the Battle of Britain, why do I feel like this is going to get the very fine people hoax put to it that the president had to deal with in 2016, if you remember the fine people hoax? Yeah. Don't forget that part. Not fighting. What is he talking about?
But this is the most important moment in our generation. If we don't send a message in our next election, if you don't register to vote, if you don't get involved, if you don't become activists, we are going to lose our country forever.
He's talking about the election. He's talking about what happened in the... Sound familiar? He's talking about what happened and the reason why Keir Starmer is there as Prime Minister. The same thing that's happening in the UK, the same thing that's happening in the United States, the same thing that happened in Canada. The Conservatives lost by like 2% of the vote. And only like 40% of the youths, 18 to... Yeah, I said youths.
Did you say youths?
All right. 18 to 25, they voted. The point is, do you see how there is this thread, this connection between all of us and what we're frustrated about? So Tommy Robinson there in the UK, the Unite the Kingdom, frustrated with migration into the country out of control, frustrated with the persecution of Christians, not just in the country, but around the world. And I'm going to get to something else coming up in just a second. But the fact that there are what feels like more people that agree with conservatives in the UK and Canada, than there are people that actually voted. And that's the problem. So what he was saying was, listen, we don't want you to fight like that kind of fight. We're talking about politically fighting, like you've got to tell 10 friends and so on and all of that. And you've got to make sure people get out and vote. And you have to make sure they understand what's at stake. That kind of grassroots actions. Oh, and by the way, there's also the censorship thing. So if you're like, what do they do in the UK that's so terrible? Now, this is going to sound really funny because I'm about to play a clip. I know we're going to move on in just a second. I'm going to play a clip right now of Keir Starmer, the prime minister. Actually, it's a clip of a couple of different takes of his, thanks to the great Maze Moore on X, who put this out, and how this is going to sound really familiar to some of the things that the Biden administration was doing at the time during COVID, and with laptops that Hunter Biden may or may not had in his possession, and may or may not had some really disgusting things on it. Oh, no, he did, but you weren't allowed to say it, and you were doxxed and everything else. So here's another thing that they're fighting against, where you have a prime minister who's like, we know who to go after. It's all you meanies there on social media.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online. The police will be making arrests.
What?
Individuals will be held on remand. Charges will follow, and convictions will follow.
He's talking about social media posts. It goes on. I don't want to play anymore. It goes on for another 45 seconds, but you get the idea. Now, don't let the terrific accent fool you. Yeah, I know. When somebody is calling you out and saying lies and spewing hate at you with a British accent, it just hits a little different. It's like, oh, okay. Not really. I'm just kidding. But I like a British accent. The point is that, yeah, let's not forget about that. The prime minister and all the leftists there in the socialists, unlike the socialist, Marxist, communist, Democrat, Socialist Party, that is the Democrat Party here in the United States, prove me wrong. This is what they wanted to do. This is what they went after. So much crime, migrant crime that was happening and is happening in the country, and avoiding that, and instead going after people who put up posts that they didn't like on social media. Hey, does that sound familiar at all? Don't forget, there are threads that connect us. And it's not just conservatives and conservative values and how we want to fight for that, whether it's in the UK or whether it's in the United States. Canada, we would hope so, but the other part of it, how we've been politically targeted. You know, the social media issues that they're having in the UK is the same thing we were dealing with what's his name again? You know, Joe.
Not a joke.
Thanks, Joe. And others. So don't forget about what it's all about as well. So we'll get to more of that coming up in just a bit. All right. Anytime you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X, and anytime you want to call, by the way, 866-588-8303. What else we got? All right. We talked about this a little earlier, and the polls opening in Louisiana, and how are things going? Let's listen to a little bit of the setup from Fox News earlier today.
Polling stations are now open across Louisiana for the Republican Senate primary. Senator Bill Cassidy is walking a political tightrope while seeking a third term against Trump-backed Congresswoman Julia Letlow.
How do you think that's going to go? Anybody want to take a guess as to how it's going to? Well, if you look at the screen, if you're watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X, you can see it right there. According to, it's Parley Market. Yeah. According to Parley Market? Say that 10 times fast. I can barely say it once. Parley Market. The Louisiana Republican Senate primary winner, the chances of Bill Cassidy holding his seat right now are at 3%. 3. That's not good. So what else we have now as Jonathan Seri's letting us know.
Clash with members of the Trump administration as well as the president himself over vaccine policy. And also he was one of just 7 Republicans to vote in favor of convicting the president during his 2021 impeachment.
Yeah, so forgive people if they're like, hold on a second. Was Bill Cassidy one of the senators that when the whole, Trump-Russia collusion hoax was going on, I don't know what he was doing then, but when they had the impeachment hoaxes that were happening, the perfectly fine phone call, and Nancy Pelosi's like, it's really terrible. It's a horrible phone call. It was absolutely terrible. And then the president's like, release the phone call. And then everybody heard it, and it's like, that was a perfectly fine phone call. It's just like what he said. What are you talking about? And then they were like, my screen, that kind of thing. But anyway, so he was signing off with 7 other Republicans to impeach the president at the time. And by the way, he's kind of been in the way when it comes to the Save America Act as well. So there are a couple of things that people have objection to with regard to the senator. And a little bit more from But Fox.
Trial. Well, as he seeks re-election, Senator Cassidy faces Republican primary challenges from Louisiana State Treasurer John Fleming and Congresswoman Julia Letlow.
There you go. So we'll see how that goes. But suffice to say, I like saying suffice to say. It makes me sound so British. Not really. Sorry. But, yeah, the voters now surging in the polls. You have Julia Letlow, who's got what appears to be a wide lead, according to the Polymarket people, or bots, or whatever they are, however they do it over there. And then I think there was some more news. I just want to see if I can find this, because our own Eric Doherty here at RightLine and Florida's Voice, that's another organization that we have, and another radio show that I do, by the way. If you want to listen during the week, it's Florida-oriented. We are here in the state of Florida, Florida's Voice. We do a show 3 to 6 p.m. each and every day. But we did hear a little bit from Eric that some of the polling right now, and I want to see if I can find it, is suggesting that, yeah, when it comes to Republicans and how they're doing with some of the redistricting and the like, Republicans lead right now the current 26 House map 211 to 208 with 16 toss-ups. I think they were talking about that this morning. Let me see if I can find this audio. I've got the audio. All right, let's see. Yeah, it was this morning. It was James Blair, who works with the White House, and he was talking about it this morning, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not.
Where do you think these redistricting wins place Republicans as we head into the midterms?
Well, I think they put us much closer to being able to retain the House. And it's really important to know what the history is here. These are seats that Republicans are rightly due. If you go back to the 2020 census, there was a lot of litigation that resulted in the Biden administration being able to apportion the count that was collected before President Trump took office the last time. And the Biden administration introduced new novel statistical methods, which there's been a lot of litigation around.
I like the way he said novel statistical information. Like, what have you done? What is this stuff? He's so polite. I would have said it differently. That's why I could never be a politician.
That resulted in Republican states losing a bunch of seats that they were due based on population.
Yep.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The Census Bureau came out in 2022 and said they made that error. 100% of the undercounting was in Republican states, and 100% of the overcounting was in Democrat states. And then since then, the Democrats have been suing and they've been judge shopping, trying to knock out Republican seats around the country, which they've been successful with in front of liberal judges. And so this has really been about leveling the playing field and putting Republicans back in the position that they should be, just based on a proper application of the census.
Yeah. If you had the proper application of the census and common sense, I added the common sense part, then yeah, you would have Republicans in front. And so that's what we're dealing with right now. Redistricting puts us much closer to being able to retain the House, 211 to 208, 16 toss-ups. The hope is to level the playing field. And a level playing field, you would hope, means that people are like, wait a second, are you still on the men and women's sports things? Yeah, I'm not doing that. Like that whole, which is what they're doing. And I've said this many times on my program, and I will say it often coming up into the future, and especially heading into 2026. And it's that you just have to tell me, because I don't know, maybe you've got it all figured out. I definitely don't. Ask my wife. All right, who's with me? Okay, not enough. You've got to tell me what it is that Democrats would do if they had control of the presidency and the House and the Senate. Sorry, I just threw up in my mouth. Hold on a second. If they had control, what would they do to make your life better? What's the plan? And you know what it is. They don't have one. The plan is anything that's against Trump. And by the way, here's another thing I might put out there for my friends who listen on the weekends here on RightLine, and it's this. Because maybe you've heard me say this before, and if you haven't, you think that Donald Trump ends this? In other words, Donald Trump leaves office. He is no longer president of the United States. You think all of this is like, okay, now the left will calm down because you don't really think that, right? This is just the next man, woman All right.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Next person up. I get it. So don't forget that. And also don't forget that you just got to ask a Democrat what it is about your policies and what you want to present to the American people, on the playing field, the ideological playing field. Like, what is it that I should do or look at you and say, that's what I want. That's what I'm voting for. They never have a plan. I mean, other than to tear down the Constitution and the rule of law and defund police and that kind of thing. You see what I'm saying. But we'll continue to talk about that. But this is good news. So we will see how it shakes out. By the way, coming up, there is some news about, when we talk about elections, we have one longtime Democrat who has abruptly quit. He's claiming it's because of the redistricting of the Tennessee map. I can make a clear, concise case that that's not it. That's not it. That Steve Cohen, Representative Steve Cohen from Tennessee, is going to make you think that the reason why he is getting out of re-election for that seat that he has is because, shucks, they did this thing with the map and nobody's going to want me anymore. It's weird. No, it's something else. And I'll prove it coming up. All right, anytime you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X. Top of the news from the RightLine newsroom coming up. My name is Drew Steele, and this is RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X. Anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. We are live right now, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. All right, top of the news from the RightLine newsroom right now.
Top of the news. National headlines now.
All right, let's see what's going on in the newsroom right now. AP Anita Padilla is there in the RightLine newsroom with the latest. What's up?
Hey, Drew, here's what's happening right now around the nation. Senators Rick Scott and Elizabeth Warren are pushing permanent lobbying bans for ex-lawmakers. Scott and Warren introduced the BLAST Act, and this would close Washington's revolving door. That bill would bar former members of Congress from registering as lobbyists after they leave office. Scott says the practice undermines public trust, and Warren says it allows politicians to, quote, cash in after service. Well, Michigan Democratic Senate candidate, one of them anyway, is facing some scrutiny over unpaid utility bills. We're talking about Democratic State Senator Mallory McMurrow. She paid about $3,000 in late water and sewer fees after questions were raised. Records show multiple late payments in recent years at her Detroit area home. Her campaign says the bills are now paid, and she's blaming broader affordability issues. Florida's Attorney General James Uthmeier subpoenas the NFL over the Rooney Rule. Florida's Attorney General Uthmeier demanding documents now in a civil rights probe into league hiring practices. That subpoena seeks diversity in coaching data from 2017 to the present time. Othmeyer says the Rooney Rule may violate state law. The NFL says hiring decisions are made by teams and that they are based on merit. U.S. Representative Mike Herodopoulos is blaming federal overspending in energy policy for inflation. In fact, Herodopoulos blamed federal overspending, energy policy, and interest rate decisions for high inflation during a House Financial Services Committee markup. And he pointed to the Keystone XL pipeline cancellation under the Biden administration, as well as drawdowns from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Herodopoulos called for increasing domestic oil production and says that high prices should not be addressed through playing politics. The committee is right now considering legislation aimed at inflation and energy costs. All right, that's a look at your news headlines around the nation. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here for RightLine. Back over to you, Drew.
All right, AP, we appreciate you there in the RightLine newsroom. And anytime you want to check out the stories that they are working on, you can go to rightlinenews.com. That's the website. All right, what else do we have going on here? So this was very interesting. I don't know how many of you saw this just the other day. You had the former vice president of the United States. I'm sorry. It's funny to me that she was the former vice president of these United States, Kamala Harris. I don't know.
It's not Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala Harris.
Why? 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 Why do you got to do that? Okay. Anyway, the point is that there was this, I guess, podcast she was on, and she was talking about what Democrats need to do when the time comes to which they will have power once again. Let's hope it's a long time from now. Just saying. But CNN was talking about this, and I just want you to hear a little bit of what Kamala Harris said, and then the comments from Abby Phillips on CNN, and her direct comment to what they're listening to.
President Kamala Harris, this is what she said needs to be done now.
All right, so this is what needs to be done, let's say, in federal government. This is what we have to do if Democrats, not we, but they, will do. Check this out.
Look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it.
Which, by the way, can I just stop for a second? Isn't that like so Democrat? Like a no bad idea brainstorm? Like, isn't that what it is? It's just, it's throwing stuff against the wall and seeing if anything sticks kind of feeling like that the whole thing. Like, no bad idea. I think this is a bad idea. We said no bad idea. Yeah, but this is a bad idea. No bad ideas. Oh, okay.
And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College.
The Electoral College, of course, an American tradition since, its founding. We got to get rid of that. But we're all about the love for our founding fathers and the Constitution. We're all about it. Okay.
We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court.
How big do we make it? It's funny how sometimes the left in this country does this. I mean, Democrats, the left, the communist, socialist, Marxists, prove me wrong. That's what they are. It's like when you have the minimum wage discussion that was going on a few years back, and it was all the rage, minimum wage. See what I did there? All over. Come on, who's with me? Anyway, the point is that they were like, we got to make it $15 an hour. Well, why 15? Why not 100? Like, you want to pack the court. We probably need to do something about the court. What, you need like 6 more justices, 8 more? How about 100? How about we just bring in, let's bring in Dayton. Let's just bring in the whole city. Why not? We'll just, as many as there are there. What are you talking about?
We've got to neutralize these red states from cheating.
And that's what it is. It's to neutralize the red states from cheating, which of course is kind of like when Democrats say things like someone's cheating, which is really funny being that they accuse others of what they do. And when it comes to hate speech, we decide what hate sounds like. And if you're like, I think that's hate. No, we decide. Yeah, we got to stop doing that.
Including blue states expanding their maps. Look, we got to fight fire with fire.
All right, so here comes Abby Phillips, CNN, who's got the take of all takes on everything that I just described. Here you go.
Is there really an argument against what she said, considering that we are in this state of each party doing whatever needs to be done.
I just made it. I just made the point. Nobody else on the panel there on CNN had to say anything. I just said it. I just did it for you. That's it. That's all you need to know. I just laid it out. You don't see anything wrong with that? Yeah, we see a lot of things that are wrong with that. Yeah, play the Lydia Moynihan, who was on there, who was answering this question. Go ahead.
To gain more power.
Okay. And by the way, to gain more power, this whole issue with the redistricting and maps and, Republicans do it and Democrats do it. You ever get the feeling like if a Democrat didn't do something, then a Republican would be like, cool, so then we're equal, right? We're on an equal playing field. Then the Democrats are like, yeah, okay, you got that. And then next thing you know, they're doing something completely different. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's been sort of two Democratic responses. The first is hers. And after years of hearing Donald Trump is going to destroy the Constitution and undermine the very fabric of our society, now in order to protect the Constitution, we need to expand the court, undermine the judiciary, eliminate the Electoral College, which is how we've always elected the president, and then add D.C. and Puerto Rico as states. I mean, the irony is just beyond.
It's true. You can give it to her. Go ahead. That's right. Yeah, the irony is just beyond. Seriously, that's what it's about. And what the Democrats say that they want to do, isn't it interesting to anyone? I mean, I know it is to you, and many other people. But isn't it interesting in this year, 2026, as we head towards the midterms? I mean, we've been leading up to this moment. That Democrats do things now, instead of being like behind the scenes, making you feel like and think, I think they want to pack the court. Like, no, we're not going to do anything like that. Now they just say it. But why? See, that's the thing. Why are they talking so radically this way for so long now? And the answer comes from, New York and Mamdani, obviously. It's the winning. How do you win? What is it that gets someone across the finish line that we're told that this is what everybody wants? Because, I mean, listen, you got a huge city like New York. I mean, look at Mamdani and how he won. I mean, clearly, this is a feeling that's sweeping the country. You sure about that? I'm not. Look, at least the good news is that at least Kamala Harris isn't doing one of those, those really weird, creepy, like fake cell phone video talking to a politician or something like that. I mean, at least that's not happening.
Breaking news.
A bombshell. Wait, this just in. Yes, she is. She's doing it again. You ever see these creepy videos? Here it is right now. I guess this is a state representative, Justin Pearson, who decided to just pick up the phone one day to call Kamala Harris while somebody's filming him, just happened to be, calling the former vice president, who, by the way, somebody just happened to be talking and watching and filming her as well. It's a weird dynamic.
Hey there.
Hey, Representative Pearson.
So, in the wake of the Cali decision...
I'm sorry, this is just, it's so weird, it's so fake, it's so corny. I'm sorry. Well, hey, I just happen to have somebody filming me as this is going on with their phone. How cool. Go ahead.
Immediately, Donald Trump, Marsha Blackburn, Governor Lee called for a special session. We had to be back by Tuesday, and by the following Thursday, they've taken it. The only black majority district in the entire state.
They're basically backdooring racism through politics.
That's it. They're backdooring racism through politics. So here we go. We've got the narrative. The narrative is the no racial redistricting going on in this country. The Supreme Court says it. We don't want to do anything like that. And because the court said it, and Republicans are like, all right, well, good. So now we can start redrawing maps properly the way they should be, because we don't want to do that, because we don't want to go afoul of the Supreme Court. And Democrats make it sound like, it's all about backdooring racism through politics. I'm sorry, I just can't. I can't play any more of that. But it's that weird, creepy, cell phony, hey, I just happened to be calling somebody, and here is somebody filming me calling somebody thing. And that is Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson. But there's a little more on State Representative Justin Pearson that I think everybody should know. And I think this is one of those situations where it could be happening in a town near you. It could be happening in a city, wherever you're listening to me across the country. It could be happening anywhere where you're going to start to find on a local level that there are going to be certain politicians that all of a sudden come out of the middle of nowhere. And it's like, where did you come from? Wow, who are you? And they make a lot of noise. They seem to speak to a certain constituency. And Justin Pearson is exactly that person, because as he is talking to Kamala Harris, and you're like, why is a state Tennessee representative talking to the former vice president? Because there's a pathway to something even more. Here's I guess a TV interview that was done locally with him. You'll notice something in the background if you're watching at RightLine News on YouTube and X. It says Justin Pearson for U.S. Congress. Hold that thought for a second. Tuck that into your quiver or your pocket or wherever you tuck things. Here's Justin Pearson saying,
"We demand justice, equality, and fairness in Shelby County, Fayette County, McNair County, Williamson County. Make it 15, 16, 17 counties. It don't matter."
He's very passionate. Certainly very passionate about what's going on there in the redistricting in Tennessee and running for Congress. And then here comes this little ditty when the reporter from ABC 24 asks him a very interesting question. Listen.
Left Democrat. So how, that seemed...
Okay, so... are you kidding me? We're up against the break? Okay, I gotta play this after the break. Stick around, because I'm gonna connect some dots for you coming up. Because wait till you hear his political values, and wait till you hear who he's running against, or was.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
I have always been excited, interested in personal mobility. But then I start asking myself why I never walked, even though walking is the safest way of getting around the cities. When you push off your toe, we need something that prevents you from slipping backwards. You have a very big push-off force to the ground. We will accelerate at the same time. But as soon as you release and you transition into, what we call control the fall, we stop giving you more, gas to continue acceleration.
Now, if you're wondering what that is an inventor, a CEO of a robotics company, talking about his brand new invention. So what's this invention? AI-powered robot shoes. These shoes allow you to walk 6 miles an hour, and it was Time Magazine's Best Inventions of 2023, but that was him talking about it now because I guess it's come to fruition and there are people that are using these AI robotic shoes and they're walking 6 miles an hour. Now, the first thing I think about is 6 miles an hour might be a little too fast for me. What happens if you fall? I'm worried about falling at the rate I'm going right now. How about that part of it? And then the second thing is, see, you thought AI was going to be bad. See how good AI is? Not only are we probably going to be working a whole lot less, and then the question about how I'm going to pay for stuff comes into being. But But then also, I'll be able to walk really fast to the unemployment line, I guess. You see how that works? Who's with me? All right. Anyway, enough. Who doesn't love a good AI story? Maybe you don't. All right, moving on. All right, so let me get back to this. So I brought up State Representative Justin Pearson. So this guy gets on one of those fake, really lame, really weird, really creepy phone calls, those fake phone calls with the former Vice President of the United States like she's done before, Kamala Harris, where she's like, oh, hey, look at this. Somebody's calling me right now. Well, hello, Mr. President. Well, actually, it would be more like, hello, Mr. President.
True international effort to pressure.
I gotta go. Bye. You know, that kind of thing. Anyway, so he's on that creepy phone call. And it's like, why is a state representative getting all this love, this juice, if you will? Like, what's going on here? But then you find out. Now, he's running for Congress in Tennessee. And one of the reporters that he was being interviewed by just the other day asked this very interesting question. Listen.
You know, some people have labeled you as a very left Democrat. So
a very left Democrat.
How, you know, that seemingly seems like an uphill battle when you do get into those rural counties. So how do you feel like Republicans in those very red areas will take you as far as your stances on the Democratic side? Would you say you're a very leftist Democrat?
Yeah, I'm a progressive and a pragmatic, principled person.
He's a progressive and a pragmatic, principled person. I love the alliteration. It's very, very good. Pragmatic, practical, probably punctual. But anyway, the point is that that's very interesting. Fascinating, you might say. Now, why would I say something like that? What's so fascinating about this guy? Because he's running for Congress. He's not running just for any seat in Congress, one that's going to be available. He was running against Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is somebody who's been around for a few years. He's been there for a long time in Congress. He decided that he's not going to run. He's out. And he's saying that, you know, I've been redistricted out of the map there, and so it's really going to be hard for me to really win. So are we sure about that? Because I think that really the story behind the scenes was probably being set up long before the redistricting in Tennessee. Maybe, just maybe, speculating here, spitballing everybody. What if it's one of these situations where the Democrat Socialists of America, otherwise known as Democrats, want somebody a little more far left than Steve Cohen? Like super far left, like super progressive, like we have our person. So move along, Steve. Yeah.
Right Line with Drew Steele. This is Right Line with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Right Line. My name is Drew Steele. We got Big D on the other side of the glass along with the newsroom. Nina's in the breaking newsroom right over there. And anytime you want to watch at Right Line News on YouTube and X, we appreciate it. Anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303. We are live 4 to 6 p.m. every Saturday here on Right Line across the country, too. And we appreciate all of the affiliates who are allowing us to be part of their programming day. We thank you so much. All right, coming up some more out of the UK, where they talk really nice. They got a great accent. And this big rally that's going on there today, and some of what has been happening, this huge London march there in Parliament Square. It's been packed for the Unite the Kingdom rally, and some familiar faces there as well. We'll get to that. And also, sometime today, I want to get to a couple of other stories, one being the latest from AOC. It's always fun when you hear from AOC.
Gardening, food, that comes out of dirt. Like, it's magic.
Yeah, like that AOC. But anyway, I guess she has declared MAGA to be something that, let's just say, predictable for the left, for Democrats, at a campaign rally for a dude in Philadelphia who's a big-time socialist. So you can only guesstimate where we're going with this. But you don't have to guesstimate. Just hang around, and you'll hear the audio for yourself. And then I do want to get to this story about the phones. This Axios story today, to me, is remarkable. Is there really a growing screen-free childhood movement. Please let this be the case. Please let's figure out a way to stop this. You know, the use of phones and hey, it's a great babysitting tool. No, it's really not a great babysitting tool. I mean, for millennia, we didn't have great babysitting tools like cell phones. They're handy, but not as babysitting tools. Just putting that out there. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. By the way, if you're tuning into the program for the very first time, that's the "Hey, we're moving on" music that Dee plays every once in a while from the newsroom. And also, I like to have transition music when I go from one topic to another. Kind of like Seinfeld. I think it's cool. All right, so the rally in the UK going on. Big Unite the Kingdom rally. Tommy Robinson pointing out so many things there as he was leading this rally. Among other things, the censorship going on in the country. The fact that people in the UK didn't vote for what's happening there in the country. This mass migration that's happening, the change of the culture, all of the censorship and other things that are going on in the country. Now, you might say, well, yeah, they did. They voted for the prime minister. So how could you say that? Well, his point was that, look, you have a moment in time here where you've got people who haven't been voting. I played this clip a little earlier, but I want to play this once again just so people can hear.
Are you watching Keir Starmer? This crowd, that helicopter goes from here for miles. Today, I want to ask you all something. Are you ready for the Battle of Britain? 2029, we have an election. We're not asking anyone to go out and fight, but this is the most important moment in our generation. If we don't send a message in our next election, if you don't register to vote, if you don't get involved, if you don't become activists, we are going to lose our country forever. Apathy has led to a government like Keir Starmer.
Apathy has led to a government like Keir Starmer. Like Keir Starmer, who I played the clip a little earlier as well, of him talking about, this idea of, hey, censorship. It's kind of a good thing there, especially on social media, when we can arrest you and not allow you to say certain things. And
in relation to online and social media, the first thing I'd say is this is not a law-free zone. And I think that's clear from the prosecutions and sentencing. Today, we're due sentencing for online behaviour. That's a reminder to everyone.
How about non-online behaviour? How about maybe people who want to pray in front of, abortion clinics or things like that? What about that? Oh, well, those individuals get arrested. And also, hey, if you say some things that we don't like on social media, we're going to put you in prison as well. So the people in the UK are not exactly happy about that. And even Nick Shirley showed up there, had a few things to say about some of what's been happening there in the UK and with the media. And he said,
now your media will call you far right and your prime minister will call you guys dangerous. But the ideas of freedom of speech are not dangerous, or the idea that you want to know who your neighbor is does not make you dangerous. It means that you have common sense.
Means you have common sense. It's not that you're dangerous. You just want to know your neighbors. You just want to be able to speak freely. And oh, by the way, it seems as if the folks there in the UK like the United States, by the way. Listen to this.
USA! USA!
How about that? You couldn't hear it very well. Hold on a second. Let me just stop. I had a better clip of that with people from the audience, but they were chanting USA. So it was very cool. And as a matter of fact, there was a moment in time where they have this big screen and they put all the UK politicians up there on the screen and everybody was booing and thumbs down. And then they put President Trump up there and everybody was cheering. It was exciting. So that was very cool to see. And the chants of USA, USA in front of thousands was very cool. And so we keep an eye on what's going on there in the UK. But the idea is that it's amazing how when there is apathy, weird things happen and strange people ultimately get elected. And when I say strange, I mean politically strange. Like, I didn't vote for that. I'm not sure if the country really, if they knew what you were talking about, would vote for a lot of what you're saying.
Hey, Esther.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Joe Biden in a lot of ways, and some other people.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Sometimes Bernie Sanders is somebody that comes up as well. Certainly AOC is somebody that comes up, especially when you have AOC who's like, come on now. We get it. You're a Democrat socialist of America. We understand you hate the U.S. as it is currently constructed, and maybe even previously constructed. And we would like to change things around. We get it. Can you not? No, they can't help themselves. Here's AOC at a Chris Rabb for, is it Congress? Is that what he's running for? I want to say it's Congress, but I've got it. Let me just double check it. Yeah, he's running for Congress. He's a big old socialist running for Congress because, of course, who else is AOC going to be hanging out with like on a regular basis and want to get elected? So here's AOC who's saying...
There's this video that's been going viral. I saw it last night. I think many of us seen it, of a young man who was testifying against redistricting out in the South. And he said something very true, that MAGA is the last dying breath of the Confederacy. And it could not be more true.
No. Now, I know what you're thinking before I play any more of this AOC audio. The first thing is, really, is that what we're defaulting to now? That MAGA is the last breath or gasp of the Confederacy? Is that the kind of rhetoric that we're going to use? Yes, that's what they're going to use. Again, what is your policy to make things better in the city of Philadelphia, in the state of Pennsylvania? What is it that your Democrat policies will do to help people? Oh, no, we're not talking about that. No. We're talking about MAGA, Trump, you get it. And then the second part is you couldn't afford any other place to do this except in a barn? Like, what's going on with all the echoing? Is it just me? It was like, where are you, in a barn?
But in response to a Confederacy...
I can't do it. All right. Anyway, all right. The newsroom is like, play the rest of it. Okay. In response to a Confederacy. Let's see what she says.
In response to a Confederacy, we have this moment here of liberation, abolition, and revival of the values that make this country actually great, actually aspirational.
I just want to get this straight. So your socialist, Marxist, communist policies are the aspirations of our founders? I mean, is that where we need to be? Like, that's really where we need to be. And that's your campaign cry and rally. Well, I mean, there may be people crying there because they're like, really? I voted for her? Anyway, but that's AOC declaring that MAGA is the last dying breath of the Confederacy. Okay. What else would you expect? I mean, obviously, there's always the hateful rhetoric. It's not going to stop. I think we have one more clip that we have to play. Oh, I'm going to stay away from the hateful rhetoric for just a second, but I do want to get to something that is still Democrat, still bad, still negative, but yet right into the Democrat wheelhouse, and it's this. The Democrat governor, currently, but not for long, of the state of California is Gavin Newsom. The dude has been running for president for a very long time. That's what he wants. That's where he's going to be. The chances of him being top of the ticket for Democrats in 2028 is very likely. So I guess yesterday he was asked about the possibility of ending up with two Republican candidates for governor now in the state of California. Steve Hilton is ahead. I think Tom Steyer is in second, but Chad Bianco is not too far behind between the top three or top four that are running for governor. It's a tight race, and the top two in the primary move on to the general. And because of the way that Democrats set it up in California, thinking that, well, this is going to keep us in power for a while, this time around it might backfire. And so what would happen? Well, naturally, you would think if the governor is talking about this, Gavin Newsom, I mean, naturally, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to have two Republicans, and we're just going to have to figure out the lesser of two political evils. And we've got a Democrat legislature, and we'll try to keep whatever that person is thinking about in check. And do you see what I'm saying? So this would be the normal politician that would be saying something about two different Republicans, possibly one of the two being the next governor because of the way they set everything up. But we're not talking about normal people politically. We're talking about Democrats. So we're talking about Gavin Newsom, who has a plan. Wait, what do you mean you have a plan?
We all have agencies. We can shape the future. There's still a lot. Look, I've said this before, so I'll repeat it. I don't anticipate this need to be the case, but there is a break the glass scenario. And there's many people that have a deep understanding of what it would look like if Democrats were locked out. And we're going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen.
What do you mean? What do you mean you have a break the glass strategy? What does that mean? What do you mean you have a contingency in case Democrats were locked out? That they're going to make sure that we do everything to ensure that that doesn't happen. And he's leaving it there. What are you talking about? So, again, the normal political course of business would be, this is the way we set it up in California. It just so happens that the people want a Republican this go around. We've got a Democratic legislature, and we're going to try to keep that Republican governor in check. But no, this is someone who's saying that there's a break the glass scenario, and many people have a deep understanding of what it would look like if they were locked out. Like, what's your break the glass strategy? What's your plan? And you can only think of the most nefarious things, politically speaking, when it comes to something like that. Like, how far do you intend to go to make sure that a Democrat's going to win? In other words, we're not even at the primary point yet. But they're not even going to allow that to happen. I'm not saying it's kind of creepy, but, Democrats in a lot of ways are creepy.
I got hairy legs.
Like I said, Democrats in general are creepy anyway, right? All right, let's move on, shall we? All right, anytime you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X, we appreciate it. All right, I've got to talk about this story because I'm really excited about this. There's been a lot of bad news stories. So why don't we get hit with some good news stories? To me, this is a great news story from Axios. Parents across the U.S. and abroad are joining efforts to delay smartphone use and reduce children's screen time. Thank you. Thank you.
We will win, and we will win, and we will win.
We haven't won anything yet. Why would you do that? Okay. We haven't won anything yet. Concerns about smartphones' effects on kids are fueling broader efforts around offline socialization, easy for you to say, digital well-being, and screen-free childhood initiatives. You got grassroots groups tied to the initiative that are really pushing this. Thank you. Thank you. I can only pray. Yes, I said pray. I can only be prayerful and hope and pray that this is true. Smartphone Free Childhood, a nonprofit launched after a 24 Instagram post by a Briton named Daisy, expanded into an international movement encouraging parents to delay giving smartphones to kids. Massachusetts, a mother in Massachusetts. What? Massachusetts? I could say it. My brain is a little bit ahead of my mouth today. Runs a WhatsApp group and has a bunch of advocates that are featuring discussions on AI, what's to come, and getting ahead of maybe what could be in the future by getting our kids off screens early. The research that we have seen, that many people have talked about, has said that smartphones and social media use is leaving kids stressed and depressed. You better believe it. Because as much as you think as a child or as a young teenager that you've got it going on, I guess I don't think the kids say that. All right, so I'm not hip with the kids. I don't know. I think the kids love me. The Utes.
Did you say Utes?
Really? Twice? Twice in one show? Come on. So we know that you've got teenagers who may think everything's cool, but they go on social media and are told by others some of the most horrible things and then start to compare. And then other things that happen, the baby's developmental issues that people have been talking about, that there have been neuroscientists and others who have suggested that it's really bad for babies' development and sleep. Kids constantly choose hanging out with friends over screens when they genuinely have an opportunity to do it. And the only way they're going to do it is if you make sure that that screen is not there. And I'm so happy to hear that this is even being discussed. Because it was back in 2024 when Peter Thiel was on, I guess it was with the Aspen something or other. I don't know, one of these lefty groups that put on one of these events. And he was being asked by, what's his name? Andrew Sorkin. Is that his name from CNBC? I think it is. About smartphone usage and kids. And hold on a second. This was back in 24. Listen to this.
The Surgeon General was here in Aspen. And I think you've probably seen in the last couple weeks that he came out and genuinely believes that social media and the Facebooks of the world really have done a real disservice to young people in the country.
More than that.
And I just wonder what you think of that as somebody who invested early in Facebook.
The uncomfortable look on his face is palpable the right word? Maybe that's what it is.
There's I think, you know, I can't say that he's 100% wrong. The place where I always push back on is that I feel it's too easy to turn tech or the social media companies into the scapegoat for all of our problems. And so
go ahead.
There's some kind of a interesting critique one can make of the tech companies. And if you ask how many of the executives in those companies, how much screen time do they let their kids use? And there's probably sort of an interesting critique one could make.
What do you do?
Not very much. And I think that's very...
What's not very much?
An hour and a half a week.
Hour and a half a week?
Something like that.
How old?
Listen to the crowd. The audible gasps. Peter Thiel, an early investor in Facebook, and says that he only lets his, how old are they?
Your kids? 3.5, 5 years.
3.5, 5 years at the time in 2024. Would only let his kids be on it. Hour and a half a week. Could you do that? Could you do that? If you ask executives of social media companies how much screen time they let their kids have, there's probably an interesting critique one could make. Oh yeah, there is. And it's like, I'm not putting my kids on this. I'm not going to allow them to be here. That's the Axios story about the growing screen-free childhood movement. Would that not be incredible if we can get our kids back outside, back with their friends, back in real social circles instead of online social circles? So I was just really happy to hear that that's happening and that there's this movement. I mean, you hope it's not too late. You hope it's not something that's just a few select people that are talking about it or doing it. But hopefully it's real. We'll see. All right. What else do we have going on here at RightLine? All right. A couple of other stories that we are watching. You know, the president had a couple of things to say about the elections coming up and some of the contested districts and how things are going with regard to 26 and the redistricting. And it was Brett Baer who was interviewing him. I guess it was just the other day. And they were talking about the midterm messaging that's going on.
You pushed redistricting, and after some really big wins in courts, including the Supreme Court, contested districts are now tilting to Republicans. It looks like they've picked up a number of seats.
Yeah. Looks like they're picking up a number of seats, and there's more on this when we come back in just a couple of minutes. Because there's something else that he said that ties into what's going on with elections and more on the way. Hey, by the way, top 5 audio clips of the week coming up next.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
All right, a couple of things I want to let you know about. First of all, if you want to watch, because obviously we're on radio stations across the country over the weekend. We're live right now, by the way. And thank you for listening on radio. If you want to watch at RightLine News on YouTube and X, so you can go to either one of those locations to watch. And if you're like, hey, I like this guy, he's pretty good, I wonder if he has a show during the week. I do. We do. We have a program called Florida's Voice. We are a Florida-based program, and we do a program 3 to 6 p.m. Each and every day, Monday through Friday. And if you want to check it out, that would be at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram, and also on great radio stations across the state of Florida. So if you want to check that out as well, we appreciate it. And we do this each and every day during the week, and we do it on the weekends, except we do a daily version of this. But this is the top 5 audio clips of the week. It's my personal top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
I want to thank you very much. This has been an incredible visit. I think a lot of good has come of it. We've made some fantastic trade deals, great for both countries. He's a man I respect greatly. Become really a friend. We've known each other now 11 years, almost 12 years. That's a long time. And we've settled a lot of different problems that other people wouldn't have been able to settle. And the relationship is a very strong one. We've really done some wonderful things, I believe. We did discuss Iran. We feel very similar to Iran. We want that to end. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We want the straits open. We're closing it now. They closed it, and we closed it on top of them. But we want the straits open, and we want them to get it ended because it's a crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy.
Crazy thing. They're a little bit crazy. That's the president of the United States, along with Chairman Xi in China just the other day, and the president saying that it was an incredible visit. A lot of good came from it. Obviously, there are a lot of deals, hopefully, to be had for American farmers with soybeans and the purchasing of planes, we are told, and so much more, and great trade deals, and hopefully helping us out with finishing up what is going on there with regard to Iran and so much more. So, I mean, look, the tail of the tape, as it were, is there, and then how it ends up remains to be seen, but we keep an eye on it.
Number 4.
Last year, House Republicans actually included a provision of that in their EPA funding bill. Are you actually spending taxpayer dollars looking into medication abortion being in the water?
Unless they're one of the many hundreds of pharmaceuticals on the list of the contaminant candidate list, I'm not aware of the agency doing anything with that.
Do you seriously believe there's abortion in the water like some of the far-right activists are suggesting?
I have not. You just said abortion in the water?
That's what some far-right activists are saying, that they have an audience in the EPA on that absurd issue.
Yeah, I have not had a conversation with anyone at the agency as far as abortions in water.
And you're not actively pursuing it, or don't have groups of...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Actively pursuing it. How could I actively pursue something that I don't know what you're talking about? That is the administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency, Lee Zeldin, doing a fantastic job as he's talking to Democrat lefty Senator Hattie Murray from the state of Washington. Abortion in the water. Like, how can I investigate something that you're asking me if I'm investigating when I don't even know what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Number 3.
Well, now we're gonna have to live with it. I'm gonna have to live with it.
When he calls you a dirty cop, what is he talking about, and how does that make you feel?
I don't. Honestly, it's crazy that I'm in a place where I'm 65 years old and I actually find it a little bit humorous to have this obsession by this 80-year-old man with me. I don't know. And I am an honest person. I am a person who was raised to stand up and speak out. I can't do any other.
Oh, well, that's the former FBI Director James Comey, who says he's an honest person. Okay, that's it. We don't have to ask any questions about the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and neck deep in the whole thing. And oh, and by the way, Hillary Clinton, when you had all the evidence, the prosecutor would, you're an investigator. You're not supposed to prosecute. What do you mean no prosecutor would do this and then you left it alone? A lot of different things. So that was James Comey making the rounds on all the lefty media outlets as the seashell indictment, as they're calling it, because they want to make it seem like it's ridiculous. You know, the 8647 horrible situation that happened there. And he's like, I don't understand why this 80-year-old man is so obsessed with me. That's your angle. Yeah, that's his angle on this whole thing. And I just thought at the beginning of the week that was interesting. He was making the rounds on all the usual outlets. Oh, man. It's
Number 2.
She approved the research that went on in Wuhan, and that it might not be in his interest for the conclusion to be that it came from a lab that he had funded, that there might be a conflict. Did anybody ever bring up that he might not be an objective witness?
That was one example of an email. No one laid it out quite that clearly. You're piecing it together. We were piecing it together from multiple emails, from multiple agencies, multiple documents. It was more subtle than that. Nobody said this is happening, and unfortunately, I think they probably should have. It was all out there.
But your conclusion is that changing from the scientific consensus of it being from a lab to a neutral position by the CIA was significantly influenced by Anthony Fauci?
It was significantly influenced by Anthony Fauci's injecting himself into the IC. And to go to the second part of your question about what happened, particularly during the 90-day study, we have documentation that shows that as of August 12th, the CIA was considering calling this a lab leak.
So, yeah, it's almost hard to believe that it's been a couple of days since this took place because the news cycle changes so fast. Yeah, the CIA whistleblower there on Capitol Hill confirming under oath that Dr. Anthony Fauci, you know Anthony Fauci, you know who that is.
Dr. Fauci, give us vaccines.
Yeah, that guy, not that guy singing, but that guy injected, quote unquote, himself into the intelligence community when they were about to confirm that COVID came from the lab in Wuhan. And everybody seems to probably figure out why and know why. And Rand Paul was talking about this for a long time, and so were others. Yeah, so about that CIA whistleblower and all these things that we discovered, you know, it's funny how things will continue to happen when people aren't held accountable. Can we get to the accountability part on it?
Number 1.
Investigation, but that is under investigation.
Are you able to confirm yet that it was a U.S. missile?
Who you with?
BBC for the radio.
Fake BBC. You mean the ones that put AI in my mouth? The ones that had me saying a statement that they now admit was not true? That the ones that put terrible words in my mouth and then had to admit that it was fake? The ones that are being sued now for $5 billion and don't know what to do? You're with BBC? They're another fake outfit, yeah.
You're another fake. I'm sorry. I couldn't go. It has to be number one because when you have a week when the president calls out the media and especially the BBC, anytime that happens, it's always a good day.
Drew's Top 5.
I just think it's funny. Speaking of the UK, the BBC, or maybe not the BBC, but certainly the UK. Okay, the president also on the plane was being asked about Keir Starmer. And for those that remember, it was I think shellacking. Guys in the newsroom, is shellacking a good way? Yeah, shellacking there in the elections recently there in the UK for Starmer's party as prime minister. And it feels like a lot of change is afoot. And you had the president being asked about it.
Well, we were talking about Britain, but Keir Starmer, the prime minister there, is in a lot of trouble. I know you were asked about this.
Well, he's in trouble for two reasons: energy and immigration.
He's in a lot of trouble because of two reasons: energy and immigration. And that's been something that was on people's minds today as there were huge crowds. I mean, tens, hundreds of thousands of people on the streets marching in the Unite the Kingdom march that was going on in solidarity with Christians in Nigeria, a Christian nation, the UK, as Tommy Robinson was talking about, and many others who were marching about that. And of course, about energy and also about immigration, all of these things. Well, this just in from our own Eric Doherty just a little while ago here, Eric L. Daugh, D-A-U-G-H on X, a great follow. Apparently, UK Prime Minister Starmer is planning his resignation, according to the Daily Mail. Wait, what? What's going on here? Yeah. Really? So according to the Daily Mail, he's planning his resignation, saying in private he wants it to be orderly. I mean, he just had this huge loss in the elections. You've got tons of patriots on the streets today and this evening, making their voices heard about how unhappy they are with the government. And could it be that as we head into next week, I mean, here we are live over the weekend, but as we head into next week, that this would be the case? Wow, that would be tremendous. All right, a couple of other things going on here. I wanted to go back to something that I didn't get a chance to talk about earlier with the president and China. And I don't want to talk too long about China, but I did want to mention this because there was a very, very crucial part in the president's interview with Bret Baier. And it had to do with China and Taiwan. And I think this is a very interesting comment that he made. Listen to this.
Taiwan would be very smart to cool it a little bit. China would be very smart to cool it a little bit. They ought to both cool it.
On AI, was there any agreement?
I just want to stop there. So that the two countries should cool it. And the discussion was about Taiwan, and Bret Baier was saying, seems like that was the biggest thing for President Xi, and it was. Taiwan, it's been. And President saying he doesn't think that they would do anything or mess with Taiwan while he's in office. But I will say this. The mention of Taiwan and the mention of the president regarding Taiwan saying to cool it leads many people to believe that the president is setting a stage for something that people have said before, which is, would we protect Taiwan if they were attacked by China, if there was this takeover that was going to happen? And one of the big issues and one of the big things that Taiwan has is chip manufacturing. And we are trying to onshore chip manufacturing back here to the United States. It's something we should have never given up to begin with, but that's even a thing that the president talked about. But is that the game plan? Is that what the president? I'm not privy to anything, but it seems logical that if China were to say, we would like Taiwan, and we know that one of the biggest things that Taiwan has and what they offer economically is chip manufacturing, but we bring it back to the United States and the process is happening here. That would be huge. Because if you get it away from China, And back here, economically, that is a big power play. And I think it's what's happening. All right, let's put a bow on the show coming up. We'll finish up strong. I hope. Well, I'll leave that up to you. It's RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Now, back to RightLine with Drew Steele.
In the hills of Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania, a familiar red roof catches the eye. Inside, the vinyl booths, Tiffany-style lamps, and yes, the salad bar you may remember from decades ago.
I mean, it's amazing the comments we have about, they have the red cups. Yes, we do.
What? Okay, this might be one of the greatest stories. Oh, we're so back. We're so back. Okay, this might be one of the greatest stories of 2026. I'm sorry, I'm a little excited about this, but if you're wondering what this story is about, I guess there's someone in Pennsylvania who has multiple Pizza Huts that he's opening up that are exactly like the originals, with the red vinyl seats and the salad bar with this little metal that keeps the things, the condiments all cold and stuff, and the red cups, the plastic cups, all of it. What?
Tim Sparks got his start working at a Pizza Hut that looked like this. He's now president of Dayland Corporation, which owns this franchise and more than 80 others around the country.
80? Wait, not 80 like Pizza Huts that look like the ones from the 80s. No. Yeah? No.
They've redecorated many restaurants to rewind the clock.
It looks exactly like the one that I remember from when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's what we were after.
I'm sorry. The newsroom is excited like I'm excited about this. This is the greatest day ever. I hope there's a Galaga machine someplace close by too. What else?
Some Pizza Hut classics are now top performing locations. Customers show up for a piece of their childhood.
So it's called Pizza Hut Classics, I guess is what it is?
It's just bring back memories.
To share with their own kids.
When you finally find something that tastes how you genuinely remember it tasting, like you can't let it go.
People come from 2 and 3 hours away, and I'm not making that up.
More.
I don't know where this place in Pennsylvania is. I'm in Southwest Florida. That's where we broadcast from. Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, I'm not that excited about it. I would make the trip. I'm excited about it because I would like to see that happen across the country. But you'd have to have one a little closer than. I mean, I might do an hour drive, maybe. Yeah, I'm not flying up there. But anyway, the point is that this Pizza Hut, I guess, is Pizza Hut Classics, and they bring the classic menu and the classic cups, and it looks like you've gone back in time, and I just love that. What? Oh, thanks. Yeah, we're going back in time. Okay. So, wow, now I start to think, what other restaurants could we do this with? What else can we bring back? Oh, boy. I'll bet you there's a restaurant wherever you are across the country right now. I mean, you can even message me. I mean, I see the messages on social media. We're streaming live at RightLine News on X and YouTube. And maybe you can message, and I would even mention wherever you are across the country. I would mention what you have that pops up if we have enough time. But there's got to be a restaurant in your town, wherever you are, where you're like, man, I wish they would bring that back. I don't know if it's a chain, maybe it's just a local restaurant, but everybody has it. You've got that local chain, that local restaurant that you loved. That, man, it would be fantastic to bring it back, especially if it left during COVID, that it wasn't that long ago. All right. That's all. I don't know. That just got me excited when I heard that. So I was like, all right, I got to talk about it. What else do we have going on here at RightLine? Not a lot, because we've got to go. I'm going to hear the music kicking in just a second. I appreciate everybody listening wherever you are across the country. Thanks to great radio stations for allowing us to be a part of their broadcast day live over the weekend, which I think is so important these days. We have so much breaking news that's happening. We're just glad that we are able to be here and get you all the news that's happening this weekend. We'll see you next week. My name is Drew Steele, and this is RightLine.
RightLine with Drew Steele.